What a night in the Champions League. Arsenal delivered a massive 3-1 victory over Inter, and now all eyes are on what came next. Right after the final whistle, Inter's players stepped into the mixed zone and spoke honestly about the defeat, the pressure, the intensity, and how Arsenal completely controlled the game. Today we're bringing you exactly what the Inter players said after losing 3-1 to Arsenal in the Champions League. Stay with us because their reactions say a lot about how big this Arsenal performance really was.
Zielinski, we have to be honest with ourselves. We conceded 3 goals far too easily, and at this level that is simply unacceptable. We didn't defend with the intensity or concentration required, and we allowed the opponent to punish us every time we made a mistake. Offensively, we were not sharp enough. We lacked clarity, calmness, and precision in front of goal. We had moments where we could have changed the game, but we didn't take responsibility or make the right choices in the final third. Another key issue was second balls. We lost too many of them. Whenever there was a long ball, they were always the first to react, the first to arrive. That cannot happen. In those situations, we were not aggressive enough, not proactive enough, and yes, maybe we were a bit lazy, and football always punishes you for that. Now there is no time to dwell on this defeat. We have to turn the page immediately and focus on what comes next. The match against Pisa is absolutely fundamental for us. We cannot, under any circumstances, underestimate them. Every game from now on is crucial, every point matters, and we need to show a completely different mentality if we want to achieve our objectives this season. Federico Dimarco. In the end, what was missing was the goal, and that's the most important thing in football. You can talk about performance, possession, or intensity, but if you don't score, it becomes very difficult, especially at this level and against opponents of this quality. We faced a very strong team tonight. They are at the top everywhere, leading their league, leading in Europe, and that says a lot about the level they are playing at. You can feel it on the pitch, the pace, the confidence, the organization. Every mistake is punished, and every small detail counts. Now everything comes down to the game against Borussia Dortmund. That match will decide everything for us. We know it's a final, and we will put everything on the line there. There's no room for hesitation anymore. They are incredibly dangerous from set pieces. With Arteta, they have scored an unbelievable number of goals from corners. Their routines are automatic, the movement is perfect, and the ball travels so fast that it becomes extremely difficult to react or defend. Honestly, against deliveries like that, there's very little you can do. We were also unlucky at key moments. The crossbar denied us a goal, the ball almost fell perfectly for a finish, and in matches like these, those situations can completely change the momentum of the game. Unfortunately, it didn't go our way. Now the situation is clear to everyone. We know exactly what we have to do. We must win in Dortmund. There are no excuses and no alternatives. If we don't manage to do that, then we'll have to go through the playoffs, and that's not what we want. So the focus now is total. We need the right mentality, the right attitude, and a much higher level of efficiency. We still believe, but belief has to be backed up by performance, because from now on, every game is decisive. Marcus Thuram speaking to ITV, it was a very serious and competitive match, played at a high level from both sides. We approached the game with the right mentality, stayed organized, and tried to be disciplined throughout the 90 minutes. In the end, however, football is decided by details, and those small moments made the difference today. A missed chance, a second ball, a set piece. At this level, everything counts, and unfortunately, those details didn't go in our favor. Now our focus has to immediately shift to the next game. We know how important the match against Pisa will be, and we are ready to give absolutely everything. We'll fight for every ball, show the right attitude, and do everything possible to get the result we need. Luis Enrique, speaking to IRTV, they were more aggressive than us in front of goal, and that was one of the key differences in the match. In those decisive moments inside the box, they showed more hunger, more determination, and they punished us. At this level, that aggressiveness makes all the difference. You can have good phases in the game, control certain moments, but if you don't match the opponent's intensity in front of goal, it becomes very difficult to get a result. As for the playoffs, the most important thing is simply to play. Whether it's through direct qualification or the playoff route, What matters is being on the pitch, competing, and giving everything for the club. We'll take this experience, learn from it, and move forward with the right mentality, because every match from now on is an opportunity to prove ourselves. Christian Chivu. They were simply stronger than us in several key aspects of the game, in terms of pace, technical quality, intensity, and especially in second balls. In those moments, they consistently had the edge, and that made a real difference over the 90 minutes. I believe we played a good first half. We were organized, competitive, and we stayed in the game. In fact, we could even have made it 1-1, and in matches at this level, decisive moments like that can completely change the course of the game. After that, we were also a bit unlucky. Small details went against us. In the second half, Arsenal showed more humility. In my opinion, they were a bit too confident in the first half, but after the break, they adjusted, raised their level, and the substitutions they made had a clear impact on the match. Regarding Dortmund, we'll wait to see the standings tomorrow. We are always prepared for every scenario, including the possibility of going through the playoffs. Of course, there is disappointment, especially because against teams like Liverpool and Atletico Madrid, we feel we could have achieved more. That said, when I look at the team 1 month later, I see clear growth. Maybe if we played those matches again now, the results would be different. What matters to me is that my team always moves forward with the right attitude, and that mentality has been consistent. Arsenal have players like Saka, Trossard, and others who can decide games at any moment. I trust my team's courage, even against opponents of this level. Regarding substitutions, I made a tactical decision and brought Diouf on near the end. I also considered switching to a 4-3-3, but we lacked a bit of strength and presence in attack when Pio and Arteta came on. I decided to introduce Gabriel as well. On the right side, we missed some individuality and quality in crossing, although Luis Enrique had a good game overall. From a motivational standpoint, however, the players were impeccable, from the first minute until the last. When a team surrounds you the way Arsenal did, it's because they have quality, the ability to attack your box, technical excellence and speed, Chivu added. Arsenal impressed me more than any other team we've faced. Their football is always clean, their touches are precise, and their decision-making is very fast. Saka, in particular, creates many problems in one-against-one situations. We tried to stay in the game, and whenever we won a few duels, we were able to reach their box quite easily. But that also shows the level of Arsenal's quality. I don't want to talk about how much they've spent, because then it sounds banal or like I'm complaining. The Premier League is the best league in the world. In Italy, we're not always used to certain types of intensity in plays. What matters is that we are trying to continue our growth step by step. It's important to keep believing in the process, keep working, and maintain our confidence.
Those were the words from Inter's players after being beaten 3-1 by Arsenal on the biggest stage in Europe. This victory sends a strong message across the Champions League. Arsenal are here, confident, organized, and ready to compete with anyone. If you enjoyed this breakdown of European reactions and post-match interviews, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any Arsenal news, Champions League reactions, and exclusive European media coverage. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Come on, Arsenal!